Hi guys. So this is my first video without my iPhone. I ran out of space with that one. So anyway, I wanted to talk about this thing that is happening in society. Nowadays, people chase attention more than purpose. And attention is rewarded more than purpose, more than contribution and service. Nowadays, we use your follower count to gauge the value of your content, rather than what you're actually promoting itself, like online. Is this trend, that whenever you want to insult somebody online, you go to their follower, you be like, oh, see this one with their 12 followers, see this one with their 30 something followers. And, I'm not against, that's not really my point in this video. My point is that we gauge numbers. Everything has become surface level. There used to be depth. Depth used to be a thing that was rewarded, but now depth is ignored. Actual value is ignored. And what is rewarded is what can feed your dopamine addiction the most. We reward the things, your low vibrational stuff, things that don't force you to have to reckon with something in yourself, things that don't provide any long term service to you. We reward the things that can keep you distracted from reality. Because the thing is that depth will always be needed in your reality. And nowadays, we have left that from being an accepted fact to something that you should be ashamed of, something that we have to hide and distract ourselves from using social media. Nowadays, the person that has 5.5 million followers, but their content is just, shit posting or just trend hopping, is going to be seen as, the overall better person than the guy that has, let's say 600 followers and posts content that is actually meaningful to some people, that can provide long-term impacts. Content where you can learn things or, can help you to develop yourself mentally, physically, spiritually, anyhow. Now we just look at numbers to determine everything. And I just want to remind you, that a number is just an arrangement of pixels. Numbers have to be backed up by something. If your only method of gauging something is just the face value of the numbers, you're missing the point. No pun intended, but you're missing the point entirely. Numbers have to come from somewhere, and those numbers are meant to direct you to where it's coming from. Those numbers have to come from somewhere. When you see numbers, it's not supposed to be your final marker in gauging something. It's supposed to cause you to ask, why are this person's numbers like this, right? It means that this person must be doing something right. Is this somebody that I would want to learn from? Let me check. You don't just use numbers to determine, this person is useful, this, this is the best thing for me because it's popular, because the numbers are in its favor. And that used to be common sense. A lot of things that used to be common sense in society is no longer common sense, but this is one of them. This is one of them. And I wish that, someone can, that people that are trapped in this mess that you use numbers to gauge everything, they need to come out of it and like wake up from it. Numbers are not supposed to be your only way of determining something. It's a valuable factor, yes. It shows what's trending, it shows what's popular. Something being trendy does not mean it's bad. That's not my point, you know. But those numbers are meant to be an indicator of something. It's a strong indicator of something. You're supposed to figure out what it's indicating. The number is not the indication itself. It points to something. So I don't know why this is not common sense nowadays. These things used to be common sense, but now we are in a society where things like this are no longer basic wisdom. So how do we combat this? How do we combat this? I think it starts from the youth, the Gen Z, you know, my generation, or just anybody that is still active, adding value. In extension, this can apply to everybody. It's a cycle that's a mindset that needs to be destroyed. It needs to be destroyed. It's something that is horrible. There's not much English that I can use to start stating how bad it actually is, but it's actually that bad. And if you're someone that is coming across this video and you see yourself described in what I've just said now, you're probably wondering, oh Elvis, how do I go about this thing? Oh Elvis, how do I break free from this cycle? Okay, so Elvis, I'm going to tell you what you're going to do. First off, I think most of us, we crowd our we pack our schedules, what we do, with a lot of things that are not directly necessary for us. We over prioritize some things and we under prioritize some other things. We place higher importance on things that don't directly service us as efficiently as some other things. And I think that's the first problem. That's the first problem. A lot of us, we wake up and we don't immediately go about the most important things that we're meant to do in a particular day. We just doom scroll, because doom scrolling is an addiction. It's an addiction. It's anything that activates your dopamine in unnatural ways, in unnatural levels. It's an addiction. That's one thing I want you to understand. And so anyways, they get that dopamine rush, and dopamine is a cycle. Once you get it, your brain wants more, your brain wants more. It's basically the same. It's basically like a cocaine addiction, a heroin addiction. It's basically like the same level. So you go chasing that high throughout the day. You know that what you're watching is not even meaningful, but you just have to do it. You just have to do it because you're addicted to the dopamine. We need to start taking these dopamine addictions like more seriously, especially when it comes to smartphones. You think that because your screen time is 48 hours a day, you spend like 48 hours in one day scrolling, you think that you're better off than a crackhead. No, you're honestly not. You're just a functioning addict. You're a functioning addict. Addiction does not respect anybody. It can come in all shapes, it can come in all forms. And the first thing that I want you to do, if you're coming across this video and you see yourself in this thing, you might want to break free from that. That's not about addiction. It can't be managed, it can be killed. Especially if it's just something that you're holding in your hand like this, right? Especially if it's something that you're holding in your hand, it's very possible to quell that desire. And obviously, it's not going to be comfortable, but you have to rearrange your priorities and act on it. That's the first step. Rearranging your priorities and acting on it. When you wake up, you have the urge to doom scroll. That's normal, unfortunately, but it's normal. What you're going to do that is going to actually help you is saying, I'm not going to doom scroll. I'm going to actually do that important thing, that project, that goal that I'm chasing. I'm going to go for that. That's what I'm going to do the first thing today. So yeah, that's a cycle that we have to go on. Eventually, this rewires the mind. It rewires the mind, and we should start having like a value-based orientation. This is like a mindset that CEOs have. People that are in those spaces that you make fun of them, you say that, oh, they just got in there with their money or they were just lucky. No, this is a value-based mindset. In the ancient times, when society was living at the edge of survival, back then we didn't have access to grocery stores, electricity, all that. No. If we don't get an animal that we will hunt down and eat that week, we're probably going to die. And you are always at the verge of death, you know. So back then when we were in ancient societies, when we were living on the edge, it was a very value based system. Their hierarchy is based on value, service rendered, you know. It's not today where we now base hierarchy on follower counts, on attention. Follower counts shows that you have attention. There's demand, there's attention. Demand and attention does not equal to value. It should be, but it's not. Anyway, back to my point. Back then, when we actually needed to have value in something to survive, their hierarchy was based on value. The person that has the most prestige is the person that is contributing the most, is the person that is the most valuable. You cannot, back then you cannot come and do your shoulders like this if you're not bringing any value to the community as a whole. Nobody will send you. And why that mindset worked is because it forced everybody to want to participate in contributing. If you're somebody that has zero value to something, when you can add value but you choose not to add it, you will not be rated. As a man especially, there'll be you get the least amount of food. You will not be respected as much. You're not going to have, like, girls are not going to come around you as much. No girl will want to be with a man that is not respected. It's a natural biological urge as a girl to want to be with a man that is respected. It's also not a natural urge for a man to want to have respect among his peers. Anyways, it's a value based something. Back then, you knew that if you didn't add value, you couldn't just afford to stay there and not do